Welcome into another edition of the Stripe Show podcast. It is Froggy Wednesday, and today we have got a former FedEx Cup champion. He's got his own event on the Champions Tour. He is a World Golf Hall of Famer. I mean, basically, he's everything there is to be with golf. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Jim Furyk here with us today. Jim, man, welcome to the Stripe Show podcast.
I appreciate it. Thanks. Nice to be
How
on
are you?
again. I'm good. And you?
I'm doing good, doing well. How has life been out on the Champions Tour this year?
I mean, good. I haven't really played particularly well. I think that's one thing that's a little bit of a thorn on my side, but been working hard on my game. And last couple of events at Dick's finished fourth. Last week at LIV finished 13th. So hopefully trending in the right direction. Hopefully seeing some of that hard work pay off. But I think we've got 4 more events. Well, I've got 4 more events. We have 5 more events before the playoffs start. And most importantly, we have the Constellation Furyk and Friends coming up on October 3 to 9.
That is the #1 event. That's exactly why we're here. So talk about your event a little bit. Going on at Timuquana. I know they've made a lot of changes at Timuquana Country Club since your event last year. So talk about the changes that have been made. How will that affect the golf tournament?
Well, I'm not sure the changes were major. They're calling it a restoration, not a renovation.
Okay.
A lot of the changes were made to they have a new irrigation system to upgrade the drainage. While they were doing that, they kind of regrassed the whole golf course. There's been some minor design changes, but Timuquana was so good to start with. And I have a lot of respect for the architect and Bruce Hepner, where he didn't go in and try to make his mark. I think he tried to kind of restore a little bit of the Donald Ross traits, and it looks good. It looks good. I haven't played all 18 holes yet, but I've driven around them a number of times. I think I'm going to get out there actually tomorrow to play 18 and really see it for the first time.
Oh, nice. You get out there and see it. And I mean, were you able to have any input whatsoever on what was going on? Did having the tournament there long term, did they make any changes as far as hospitality and things that would be better for the tournament?
No. This restoration was already planned before.
Okay.
Our event was headed there for the Constellation Furyk and Friends. It was not made for our event. However, we'll reap the benefits. There'll be a lot of positives. What's Timuquana's number 8? It's our number 17. That had a major upgrade for last year's event because a lot of trees were taken out on that left side.
Right.
Again, nothing we asked for, but when we saw it happening, we went, wait a second, we've got an awesome opportunity here. So that's one of the 3 places on the golf course that I would direct fans to go to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, speaking of that Tailgate Village, talk about that. Talk about Tailgate Village, because that's very different than anything we see at another PGA Tour event.
Well, football's big in Florida. It's Florida State, Georgia, Miami. Got a lot of fans out there. The Jaguars on Sunday, so we knew we were kind of butting heads with football season. We decided to put 2 big screen TVs up there left of the 17th hole. Fans can watch some golf, grab a beer. Watch their favorite team on television. And Tabitha and I are huge football fans. So we're really trying to create destinations, and that's one of them on the golf course where fans could come. And golf's the vehicle. The golf's bringing you out, but we really want you to enjoy the food, the cocktails, the fun, the camaraderie, being with your friends, and Tailgate Village, right? There's no better time than tailgating with your buddies before a football game.
Exactly. Yeah. So speak about your field. Last year's field at your event was the strongest field in the Champions. I believe it was one of the strongest fields ever outside of a major.
Correct. We had the strongest field of the year. Very proud of that, and very blessed. And go ahead. What was your question on top of that?
Will you be able to repeat that again this year?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, our defending champ's not going to be there. So having Phil come and play, he only played maybe 4 or 5 Champions Tour events ever. So having him present definitely pushes the needle. And then having him in contention and then to go on and win the event was a big deal. We had great ratings on the Golf Channel, nice crowds following. So good spark for us with what's going on in the world of golf, and Phil kind of leaving for LIV. That it's going to make it impossible for him to defend, but we're also going to have we didn't have the deepest field on tour just with one player. So we're going to have a strong field again. Whether or not it's the strongest field in the Champions Tour, I don't know. Honestly, I got a lot of great friends out there, Hall of Famers, folks that have been wonderful players for their entire career. They're going to be there. You're going to see Steve Stricker. You're going to see Freddie Couples. They're ones that maybe don't play every event, but great to see them again. And you name it. We're excited, and we're gonna have a really good field again.
Padraig Harrington playing again this year?
I believe he is. He's playing the week prior in Europe. He was joking. He was thanking me for sending the private plane over to pick him up. Uh, but I believe he is. But we'll see.
That's awesome. It really was. It was a strong field. Now, Phil not being able to defend, that is a direct result of him going to LIV. And when you are suspended on the PGA Tour, that also continues over to the PGA Champions, correct?
Yeah, it's the whole umbrella, whether it's the PGA Tour, the Corn Ferry, the Champions Tour. We all fit under the same rules and the same umbrella.
Okay, so he's not able to come and defend, and
that's correct.
And that's a decision that that the Phil made, and we'll get further into LIV in a few minutes. But I know you've also got a big concert event coming up.
Yeah.
And Jake Owen concert, that is a party, and that's going to be a good time at Daly's Place. That is on Tuesday night, October 4th, I believe.
That's correct.
Jordan Davis and Jake Owen.
Yep. Looking forward to it. I've had the opportunity to meet Jake. Don't know him real well, but seems like a great guy. I know he's friends with a bunch of guys on the PGA Tour, a little younger than me, those friends, but really
he's a good player.
His music. I admire his music. I know he loves golf. I met him at the father-son last year. He had brought his father. He was kind of the entertainment for our dinner. He brought his dad to play along with in the pro-am, and Tanner and I were able to talk to him for a little while, which was fun. And Jordan Davis is just a wonderful human being. I love his music, but he's been to our event a number of times and can't say enough good about him. He's just a good, solid dude, and really happy to have him back.
Yeah, Jake's a good guy. He's really good friends with Jordan Spieth.
Yeah,
and we had Jake here on the podcast, and he told us a story that was like a legend story. So they were up at the event. I think they were down in Vero Beach, where Jake's from. They were on the 18th hole, bunch of people around, and they had like 120 yards in. And Jordan's like, "Hey, would you guys get mad if I just jarred this from here? So just go ahead and just end this over." It was getting a little dark. And they're all like, "Whatever, just hit it." Sure enough, Jordan
knocked it in.
the green one time, knocks it right in. I mean, he said it was the most legendary setup, and then he actually pulled it off.
Exactly. But, well, nice.
Jake loves golf. He played at Florida State. Was a really good player, and I think he got hurt. And that's what kept him from being able to
he was on the golf team at Florida State?
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
he's a heck of a player then.
Yeah, he was. He was a good player. So he loves golf. He'll be good. He'll have a good time.
I'm going to say he probably still made the right career decision, would be my guess.
Yeah, you think so? He told me, he goes, "I pick up a lot more girls with this guitar than I would with golf clubs."
I bet he does.
So he's a good guy. I saw him in St. Augustine late last year, I believe it was. We went to the show in St. Augustine, and it really is. It's just fun.
Good.
It really is a good show. So that'll be good.
We're very excited to have him, and it's a huge boost for the event.
Yeah, Daly's Place, Tuesday night, October 4th.
October 4th. Absolutely.
And you can get tickets at is it Constellation and Friends?
It's ConstellationFuricandFriends.com, and I believe Ticketmaster is handling those as well.
ConstellationFuricandFriends.com. And we'll also put all of the links to this here on the YouTube page, and we'll also put it on our social media when we load this.
Awesome.
So make sure everybody can get tickets. So it's a fun event. It's good. It's a good time. Getting to the event is a lot of fun, actually. There's multiple ways to get there, but the water taxi really is fun. It adds a whole nother element to getting to the golf tournament.
Absolutely. Circle K is the sponsor of the water taxi. It's from downtown. Everyone wants to know how long the trip is. I've taken the water taxi. We kind of practiced it last year. A lot of it depends on the wind, the tide, the waves out there, but it's about a 2-beer trip. Right. There's a bar on the boat. You can have a good time. But how many golf tournaments do you know of that you can enter by boat? And Timuquana is in a little tight piece of property, so parking's interesting, and this is a great way and a fun way to get to the golf tournament. Enjoy what we believe. I mean, the St. Johns River, the view from Timuquana of the city of Jacksonville is just stunning, and it's one of the things we wanted to showcase. The Players is in Ponte Vedra, and it gets a lot of TV time, as it should. It's one of the elite and premier events in the world. But our event, we really wanted to showcase Jacksonville and the downtown area and our St. Johns River, and what better way to do it to hop on a boat and ride to Timuquana that way.
It is. It's fun. So make sure you get out, take the whole family, enjoy it. It really is a lot of fun. I know you guys are doing military discounts as well, as far as military members buying tickets as well.
Not discounts. Military members or families, they get in free. So You can go to Constellation Furyk and Friends. You can get more information about that. We have a Patriots Outpost on the 7th hole. It's a par 3. It's a place where they can come and get some food and drinks and some reduced prices on beer and alcohol. And really just, Jacksonville's a huge military town, and sitting there right next to NAS Jax. We use the base a little bit for some parking. They've been great to work with, and we're just so blessed to have them. And so we wanted to kind of reach out and make sure they have some great access to the event and come out and have some fun.
That's awesome. So it's a whole week of festivities. I know last year it was amazing how much rain you guys got on that first round on Friday last year.
Yeah, and we were lucky to get the whole round in, which was even better.
And the golf course took all that rain. You were able to get the drainage, able to get the water off, and able to finish on Sunday on time, which early on Friday didn't look like that was going to be a possibility. So last year you got really lucky.
Yeah, the good news with the Champions Tours, we're dealing with one wave of players. So, half of a field on the PGA Tour event. We're dealing with, 78 players. So that gives us a little bit more time to catch up. I guess really hats off to our tournament staff. I mean, day one, right? First official day. We're just kind of hoping things go smooth, trying to get our feet wet, running our first event. And, major rain delay. We have to make some decisions about fans. And, we have a small staff, but I give a lot of credit to Adam Renfro, our tournament director, and his staff, and how they handled that situation. And as you said, we were lucky to get the first round in on Friday so that everything ran smoothly for Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, it was nice. So make sure you head out. It's fun. It really is fun for the whole family. Getting there is fun. The golf's fun. You got Tailgate Village. You can watch a little college football action. Yeah. See some good golf.
Check out the Circle K Party Porch on number 7.
Okay.
Circle K loves to have a good time. They're our presenting sponsor, and they've got an area out there. Number 7's a par 3. Anytime a 2 is made on number 7, you got 7 minutes to buy your beer. That costs $2 at that point. So they've created a fun atmosphere. You'll have tacos on 12 as you do with the players.
Yes, Taco Lou.
And then we also have an upgraded ticket. It's called Club 58, and so that sits behind the 10th green, next to the 11th tee, next to the 13th tee, next to the 17th green, and also next to the 18th tee. So you have views of all 5 holes. It's elevated about 10 feet off the ground, and all food and drink inclusive. And you don't have to buy a group like 10 or like a cabana. You can get individual tickets. So Club 58 was huge for us. And I would also, for folks that are interested in that and the views, go check it out. It's a good spot.
I'm not going to let you just gloss over Club 58 that easy. It's named Club 58 for one reason, because this gentleman is the only guy to shoot 58 on the PGA Tour. So
yeah,
forever be Mr.
cute
58.
name out there.
I watched the other day, there was some stuff running on Golf Channel. They were showing the highlights from that 58. And I'm sure you'll agree. That 58 could easily have been like a 56. It was a lip out from a 56.
Could have been a 56, but it probably was closer to a 61. How's that?
I don't know. That putt on the birdie putt, was it on 16 or 17?
15, the one that came back at me.
Yes.
Yeah, I was stepping it in and it spit it right back at me.
I don't know how that didn't fall. I mean, that's a 57, and there was another one that was pretty close as well. When you have a 58 to go, yeah, it could have been a this. It could. I mean, when you have like a 72 and you're like, yeah, it really could have been a 68. It's easy, but when you have a 58, it's not easy to just sit there and go, yeah, you know what? I left a few out there.
Well, yeah, but like I said, when you're shooting numbers like that, you had a lot better opportunity to shoot 62 than I did 56. Put it that way. Right. So pretty happy with the 58 and pretty kind of a cool feather in my cap right now to be the only guy to shoot that number. Eventually it'll change. It'll get beat someday down the road, but it's fun kind of holding the record while I can.
And you've also got a 59 as well, right?
Yep.
Sure.
That's so, again, to do it twice is really a cool accomplishment. I never really thought I'd have the opportunity to do it once, and then to be able to do it twice is a lot of fun.
Yeah. So if you go to the event, you got to stop by Club 58, just for nothing else, just because Jim's the only guy that ever shot 58 on tour, and it sounds like it's a good place.
Yeah, it's a cool spot. I mean, it's a massive platform, views of 5 holes. Your alcohol and your food included. It's really a cool spot. So I would entice people to check it out online. Go to Constellation Furyk and Friends, and if that's something you're interested in, I'm telling you, it won't disappoint.
There's a lot of hospitality events, a lot of things to do there. And like I said, getting to the tournament is fun, whether you go by car or whether you go by boat. And I can't really think of another tournament you can go by boat. I'm sure that maybe there's one somewhere, but trust
Not
me,
that I know of, but I'm
it
sure
really,
there is.
it really is a lot of fun. So, October 7th.
The
Is that
tournament is
first time?
October 7, 8, and 9, the
7,
tournament
8, 9.
proper. But
Mhm.
yeah, October 3rd, we have a Monday Pro-Am. Tuesday is the concert, which is October 4th. We have Pro-Ams on October 5 and 6. So it's a busy week all week. But the tournament proper for fans that come out and watch their favorite Champions Tour players, October 7, 8, and 9.
8 and 9. All right, cool. So you guys, anybody in the Jacksonville area, hell, it's even a destination. Come on down, have a great time.
Absolutely.
Jacksonville's beautiful in October. I mean, the weather. I remember the weather last year was absolutely perfect. Other than that little rain we got on Friday, it was nice.
It was a little warmer than we're used to in
A little bit,
October, but still pretty good. Still pretty good.
a little bit. It was nice. So big event. Come down, see the concert. Unfortunately, so I've got my event going on that Monday the 3rd, and Jim played in my event last year, but we had to move it because of that's when the golf course had available. So this year, unfortunately, we lost Jim, but actually, absolutely for a good reason. So I enjoyed you coming out last year, and really, Jim, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, I had a good time. Thank you very much. It was fun playing with you and your son and friends. I had a good time.
Yeah, we had a good time. My son still talks about it. He still talks about, Dad, I can't believe I got to play golf with Jim Furyk. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, trust me, you're very lucky to be able to play golf with Jim. He's like, he makes the game look so easy. I'm like, because it is easy to him. It's different than it is to us.
Some days it is, some days it isn't. How's that?
It is. So big week this past week, Tour Championship,
Yep.
Atlanta. Roy McIlroy becomes the first to win the FedEx Cup 3 times. Maybe you can talk about how difficult is it to win the FedEx Cup. You won it, once. You remember what that's like to win it 3 times. How difficult is that?
Yeah, very difficult. I mean, you have to get yourself in position with a really good season, but then you also have to play well at the right time. So I would say that for one reason or another, I would say Eastlake kind of suits Rory's eye. Like he feels comfortable there. He's had success in the past. So it's always nice going to courses where you do that. I always enjoyed Eastlake. I love the golf course. And so I was kind of happy to have the season finale and our Super Bowl on that golf course. I laugh a little bit. The first thing they said was, well, Tiger's only won this thing twice and you won it 3 times. So you're one up on him. But, we played a lot of years before we had a FedEx.
Right.
And something tells me Tiger probably would have won more than 3. So
he might have. Yeah.
Rory will get there. I'm sure he's not done yet. Amazing talent, good guy as well. So happy for him, and felt a little soft spot for Scotty Scheffler. He had such a good year, had a big lead going into that last day, and Rory chased him down and played a heck of a round. So felt bad for Scotty, but he had one heck of a year, and as always handled himself with. I saw his interview after the event. Handled himself with a lot of class.
I love when he went over to Scotty's dad and gave him a hug, and Rory is just displaying what class is. And I love to see that on the tour. I love to see the way these guys are getting along, and they've galvanized the guys that are there with everything going on. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Good to see Rory win. But yeah, I did. I felt like Scotty even said something that really kind of struck me as strange, and as an amateur and as somebody who I just play golf for fun. It made me realize how difficult golf is. He said that in the morning, his golf swing felt great. Do you remember he went out, finished his 3rd round, first thing on Sunday morning? I think he shot 3 or 4 under. He played 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Yeah, he made a lot of birdies early in that.
Yeah.
On that day. Yep.
Yeah, he played like 6. He made 4 birdies, I think, in 6 holes on Sunday morning.
Okay.
Then in a matter of 3 hours, he said his golf swing changed. When he went out to go warm up and play, golf swing changed. If Scotty Scheffler is the best player in the world and his golf swing changes in 3 hours, I know that I have absolutely no chance of ever playing great golf consistently.
I think a lot of it for us is more the feeling we get, a minor adjustment here, a minor adjustment there, and all of a sudden it doesn't quite feel as good as it did before. And I think it's tough too, having a big lead. I think he had a 6 shot lead.
Yeah.
I was playing the Ally Championship up in Flint, Michigan, so I didn't get an opportunity to see it, but he had a 6 shot lead going to Sunday. Those, it's tough to, you have to kind of trick yourself. You have to keep the pedal down. You have to stay aggressive, but it's really tough to do, right? It's knowing that, he goes and shoots 2 or 3 under, and someone's got to shoot 8 or 9 to catch them. That's going to
Right.
be extremely difficult to do on a Sunday. So, um, I've been in that position once or twice in my career where I had a big lead.
Mhm.
Probably most notably the U.S. Open. I think I had a 4-shot lead going to the Sunday, and trying to talk myself into staying aggressive and playing like I didn't have a lead or playing like I was, maybe a shot back, is a really hard thing to do.
So what would you rather do, Jim? If you could put your finger on one or the other, would you rather have a 6-shot lead or be down by 1 going into the final round?
Oh, I'll take the lead every time. Are you kidding
Okay.
me?
Okay.
I mean, I realize it's a mental battle, but at the end of the day, there's a score that's going to win. And if I'm 6 up, I don't have to shoot as good to get there.
Right.
So I'm taking
Right.
the lead.
Right.
And I feel like my game lends itself to when I'm playing well, and my game's doing well. I hit a lot of fairways and a lot of greens. That puts a lot of pressure on other folks. And so if you can have a lead and then continue to drive it down the middle of the fairway, hit greens, man, you just put so much pressure on the
Right.
other folks.
I'll tell you, Jim can putt lights out. So last year at the golf tournament, I don't think you missed one putt inside 8 feet. I mean, everything. I remember there was one putt on number 8. It was 10 feet. None of us made it. I thought you were going to make it. When you didn't, I did go, oh, man. And you looked at me and you go, well, you didn't make it either. I'm like, no, I didn't. You're right. I didn't.
They can't all go in. Statistically,
no,
they can't all go in.
They don't all go in. So much going on in the world of golf. I mean, just the fact that we've basically gotten 20 some minutes here in the podcast and haven't mentioned the LIV word.
Yeah, that broke a record for me the last few months for sure.
It is for sure. Because listen, it is a big deal. It has turned golf, I don't want to say upside down, but it has opened up and put more eyes on the sport, which some would argue is better. I don't want LIV to be all anybody talks about now, because I think it does take away from the other accomplishments, whether it's your event going on here in Jacksonville, whether it's the accomplishments of Rory McIlroy in winning a FedEx Cup, and those things deserve the spotlight more so than guys who are choosing to go, whether you like it or not, go play for more money. And that's really why they're leaving.
What LIV has done a really good job of is sprinkling a little bit of information at you every 2 or 3 weeks and staying very relevant and staying in the news, and it continues, to keep people talking about it. They've done very well in their marketing. I would say somewhat genius in some areas, and that's got the conversation going. Things will mellow out eventually. Eventually we'll get to a point where the guys are going to go will go, and the guys that are going to stay are going to stay. You're going to have 2 competing tours, and I think things will settle down a little bit. And I'm excited to hear a little bit more about the changes that the PGA Tour is making and the elevated events, and how you qualify, how you stay in the elevated events, how you fall out of the elevated events, how you can work your way from, we'll say, kind of a mid-level up into those elevated events. And so I'm anxious to hear, the changes are great. And if people say, what do you think? I'm like, well, I mean, in one side, it sounds great. I mean, right now, next year, they're going to play 17 events that are most likely going to be $20 million purses, right? 12 elevated events. I'm sure the 4 majors are going to have to step it up, and they're going to have to get to 20 million. And then you're going to have the Players Championship, which is probably 25. So you're going to have these elevated events. But I'm a little anxious. I want to hear about how you qualify for them. How do I get in those? Is it all run off the PIP, the Player Impact Program? If so, is the PIP changing in the way they do it? And most importantly, as a player, if I were 25 years old, how do I work my way into that? Sounds great. And if I'm one of those guys, all right, how do I stay? How do I stay in this elevated event? Because that's the series, and those are the folks I want to be playing against week in and week out.
And what about these Monday events that the new Tiger and Roy thing they put together, where it sounds like it's a stadium event and maybe the next week's tour event? I don't really understand fully. And then is it a skills challenge at a stadium? Like, do you understand exactly what these events are?
I don't. I took it as it was like they were using technology. So they were using like almost like a simulator type thing is the way I took it. But maybe, honestly, Froggy, I have no idea. I'm more, not that I don't think that's important, not that I don't think that'll be an interest for fans, and in a way probably for those players to make some money as well. But I'm just more interested in kind of the nuts and bolts and the bones of the PGA Tour and how those elevated events are going to work.
Yeah, because they are, and that's the thing is that there's absolutely no doubt that the PGA Tour has reacted to what is going on. And some people see that as a negative. I don't see that as a negative. I see it as, hey, you know, LIV is something that we are going to have to deal with. It is something we're going to have to compete with. So we might as well find a way to do it. So I don't have an issue with what they're doing. Do you think that the tour could have handled this differently or any better, and maybe some guys would not have left and gone over?
Well, possibly. I mean, 3 years ago, it was hard to imagine. I guess it was hard to wrap my head around uh, the guaranteed money and the amount of guaranteed money it was going to take for the Live Tour to start wooing players in. And then, I mean, I just don't see, again, I could be naive and I don't know. I just don't see how they're going to actually get a return on that investment.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it's an endless supply of cash, and it doesn't matter. But 3 years ago, my brain didn't kind of understand
Right.
that theory. And
I
so,
still don't.
so I
They don't
don't,
have sponsors. They don't have TV deals. They don't. I mean, there's no way to recoup any of this money. And I get right
yeah,
now they're okay with that, but that
I'm,
can't go on
I'm,
forever.
I'm under the, if you ask me, and I may handle it different than some players, I don't think the PGA Tour had much of a choice other than to react the way they did. The two tours, in my mind, I've never heard of an idea how they're going to coincide. How do
Mhm.
we take the best players off the PGA Tour 14 weeks a year and then look at our sponsors, because that is events we're taking away that are going to play in the PGA Tour? How
Right.
do we look at FedEx, our umbrella sponsor? How do we look at our title sponsors saying, I know they're not going to play some of your events, but we still, we're still expecting X amount per event. Uh, I, I don't think the tour had another way to react other than to combat what was going on and basically tell the players that they had to choose one way or the other. They had a new TV deal. They had been telling us for 2 or 3 years that they really thought purses were going to increase. They got that TV deal done. Purses were going to increase, but as you said, they had to react and they had
Mhm.
to. They actually made another. With the meeting that Rory and Tiger had in Wilmington, they reacted again and actually upped the stakes even more to try to entice folks to stay. It's always going to, in my mind, it's always going to be the most competitive tour. It's going to be the place where if you want to prove yourself and be the best player in the world, you're going to have to do it playing the PGA Tour. But those folks the folks that went and played the Live Tour, it's their choice. That's kind of what we have. I can choose to go play there. I can stay here and play the PGA Tour. You make your decisions. You move on. I guess the outlier is, will they ever play in a major championship again?
Right.
Will if they don't get world ranking points, all those guys are going to eventually fall out of the top 50. They're eventually going to lose. Maybe we'll see what Augusta does, but maybe they allow their defending champs or their past champions to come back and play.
Yeah.
But eventually, a lot of those guys are going to fall out, and the young guys that haven't won a major championship, may never get that opportunity. And it's an interesting decision that they had to make, and probably one that I always I realize I hear Scotty said he didn't play the game for money,
Right.
and it's his job and he makes a great living at doing it. I think what he's saying is he doesn't make his decisions on the golf course
Right.
based
Based
around
on funds.
financial situations. Am I going to hit this shot because it's going to cost me X amount of money? No, he's trying to win golf tournaments. He's trying to
Have you
finish this
ever done
high.
that? Has that ever crossed your mind, Jim? Have you ever
No,
stood over a shot and
no,
known this shot's worth X amount of dollars?
no. I mean, at the end of the day, you miss a putt on 18, you go, I wonder what that cost me, and
Right.
but I never stood on the green and thought about what it
Okay.
meant. If I was in seventh place, I was trying to find a way to get to fourth. If I was in fourth, I was trying to find a way to get to second. If I was in second, I was trying to find a way to win the golf tournament. I
Right.
was always thinking about where I was going to finish, and the best competition still, is always going to be on the PGA Tour. The depth and the amount of great players is right now on the PGA Tour, and if you want to hone your game and you want to be the best player, that's where you're gonna have to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I know some people are worried about the players that are leaving, but I see it as kind of two things. Number one, I see it as, and then in the newest list that came out yesterday of guys that have gone, included Cameron Tringali and Harold Varner. Nothing against Harold Varner or Tringali, but neither one of them have ever won a PGA Tour event. if that's where LIV is, and now that those are the American players that they're going after, guys who have never won, I think the tour's in a great spot, number one. Number two, the Dustin Johnsons of the world and the guys who have gone, Bryson and the upper echelon players, there was a time that they were brand new players on the PGA Tour. There are more Dustin Johnsons and Bryson DeChambeaus that want to be on the PGA Tour, that are young guys that are coming up. And those guys will perform because they're going to be given the same opportunity and the same arena to show their skills. And they will be the new stars of tomorrow that will be on the PGA Tour.
Sure. I think, adding, I think Cameron and Harold have great games. I think adding them adds depth to, the one thing with the LIV Tour is there's 48 players, but there's not a lot of depth, to be honest with you. They have some star power at the top and name recognition, but not a lot of depth in those fields. And so you're adding some depth. So I don't want to take away from players. And yeah, I think losing your superstars, losing Dustin and Bryson and Brooks, possibly Cam Smith if he goes, there's more down the list, but yeah, I'm disappointed. I want to see him play on the PGA Tour. I want to see him play, here at home, but they have to make that decision, and they did, and they also have to live with the repercussions on top of it, which is fine. I think that's kind of part of. They had the opportunity to pick and choose. They made that decision, and the way I see, like Dustin, I mean, he's not part of a lawsuit. He's not bitching and pissing and moaning either. He's just going about his business and playing his thing, and I have to respect that.
100%.
I wish you were playing the PGA Tour, but I respect it.
I agree. I don't like that I don't like the decision that they made. They're entitled to make it. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. But I do respect guys like Dustin and Brooks who have gone. They're not part of these lawsuits, and they're trying to sue the PGA Tour back to come back. It's like, hey, you said you wanted to go because you wanted to play less golf. You have to play all of their events, and now you're going to sue the PGA Tour to come back and play events that you willingly walked away from. Like, none of that made sense to me. And so that's why, like you said,
the tour had to protect their product. They had to do what they did.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Have you had any friends? Is there anybody that's gone over to LIV that you would consider are your friends? And has it affected your friendship with them?
I wouldn't say any friendships have been affected. I've known Phil since we were kids. I mean, I played college golf against him at Arizona. He was at Arizona State.
Right.
I've known him forever. We haven't spoken, but I don't, I played in, Ryder Cups with Dustin Johnson. Both Dustin and Brooks played for me. I mean, I respect them, and I don't have any malice, put it that way. I wish they would have stayed. I wish they would still be playing the PGA Tour, but they chose what they thought was best for them, and that's fine. So I don't really, if I saw Brooks and Dustin, I wouldn't walk the other way. I would ask them how they were doing.
Right. Do you think there is any road back to the PGA Tour for these guys? Let's say that guys regret they go. This tour folds up. It doesn't happen. Is there a way back? Has that been discussed at all? Do you know, Jim?
I don't, and I'm pretty far removed being on the PGA Tour Champions. I'm not out there on a daily, weekly basis. I'm not hearing. I know one thing. I'm old enough to know that you never say never, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right now, it seems a little bit unlikely. It's not. I don't think one of those players is going to call Jay up tomorrow and say, you know what, I changed my mind. I'd love to play next year. I don't think it works that way.
Right.
But down the road, I don't know. I feel like in order for players to want to jump and go to that tour, they had to feel like eventually there would be world golf rankings. Eventually they would have access to major championships. And if something broke down 5 years down the road and the LIV Tour just decided, you know what, we're not willing to float this money anymore, they probably felt there was an avenue back. But I just don't know if any of those three things are possible.
You just brought up my next point, is the world golf ranking points. So Cam Smith this morning was announced, yesterday morning, was announced as going to be in the field for Boston. Now, some people have asked, why would he go now and not play in the President's Cup? And the reason for that is, if you want to be a part of the final LIV event in Miami that's being held at Trump National Doral, you had to play so many events. And the Boston event is the last event you could start that event and play enough to get into the finals for the big money pot at the end for LIV.
Okay.
So that's why these guys are going now and
Okay.
not playing the President's Cup. My question is, as far as world golf ranking points go, Cam Smith is number 2 in the world and was approaching number 1. The better he played. He was, I mean, I'm not saying it was out of reach. Scotty Scheffler's got a pretty good lead, but his number 1 was in sight. He could see it. And now chances are that's something that he will never attain. Do you know anything about where they stand? I know they've applied for world golf ranking points. I don't think they qualify on different levels.
There is a list of qualifications to get world ranking points. 4-round tournaments, cuts, an avenue to qualify for the tour, a way to get out there. They fall short in a number of different categories, and they're going to have to. My guess would be, in order to get world ranking points, they're going to have to kind of change the way they do their business. Past that, and I think it's also a 1 year. You apply, and there's like a 1 year waiting list before you then qualify for world ranking points. If I'm correct, I'd be interested. Like if you asked 100 players how important it was to get to be the number 1 player in the world, like how important that number was. I mean, I think it's a cool feather in your cap. But I would think winning golf tournaments and winning major championships, like if you ask me, would you rather have been number 1 in the world at one moment or won a major championship? I'd have taken the major championship. I mean, my name's on the trophy forever, and that's history. And, I had a long stint at number 2 in the world in about 05, 06 or 06, 07. There was some guy named Tiger Woods, though, that had like triple the amount of points as me. And so it never felt all that cool to be number 2 because we were so far behind him. It could have been number 12. It really didn't matter.
I read somewhere, and I don't know if this is true. I read somewhere that at one point, I don't know if it was you at number 2 or Phil at number 2, but at one point, the distance between 1 and 2 was greater than the distance from 2 to like 25 or 30. Is that true?
Oh, I'm sure it was. I mean, he had, if I remember, like my divider was like 6.5 and his was 18. And so then it was like 6.5 and like 6.4, 6.3, 6, down the road. And
right.
And he basically he was earning almost triple the amount of points per event that I was.
Wow.
And, so he just was so dominant at that era.
So you're saying that maybe being number 1 in the world is really not that important, winning a major championship. He won the Players. He won a major championship this year.
I'm just saying, if you ask 100 players, I'd be curious what they say. I'm not saying it's not important. I think it's a cool feather in your cap. But if you said, win the Players Championship or be number 1, man, I'm taking the Players every time. I want to win. That's, but now.
Which, by the way, you've done that as well, too.
I think it would be cool. I mean, hey, having 58 on my resume is really cool. But then again, if you said 58 or winning the U.S. Open, man, I'm taking the U.S. Open. I'm on that trophy forever.
So let me ask you, Jim, of your 58, winning the Players, U.S. Open, number 2 in the world, I'm sure there's other accomplishments. What are you most proud of in your career that you were able to accomplish?
I think winning the U.S. Open, and then if you go back to the whole FedEx Cup, winning the FedEx Cup, winning the Tour Championship, winning 3 times that year, winning the FedEx Cup, but kind of what I thought was really cool, I got voted by my peers as Player of the Year.
Wow.
That I really thought was cool. So the 2 things that stick out to me are winning a major championship and having a season where my peers voted me as the Player of the Year. I thought that was really cool.
That is strong. That is. Jim, thank you for your time, man. I appreciate it. Once again, you've got your event coming up. Fans, October 7th, 8th, and 9th at Timuquana Country Club here in Jacksonville. Get out and see the Furyk Constellation, Furyk and Friends event. It really, truly is a fun event. Getting there is fun. Time at the golf course is fun. Golf courses has been reimagined, which it really is. It was a beautiful place. I haven't seen it since they've reimagined it.
It's still beautiful. It's still beautiful. Timuquana is one of my favorite golf courses in the country. It's fantastic, and it even got upgraded in this restoration. So excited for our players to see it. We got Jake Owen on October 4th. Got tickets for that. Great golf on October 7, 8, 9, and go to constellationfurykandfriends.com.
Good deal, Jim. Thank you for your time, man. Good luck. When will we see you again out on the PGA Tour? I know you had a hole-in-one at your first event on the PGA Tour this year out in Hawaii, and you played some other events. Will we see you again at some events this year?
I'm done. I played 3 this year. Maybe next year. How's that?
Maybe. Okay. So there's
Maybe
a
next
chance
year.
we'll
I
see you
played
next year.
the Sony Open in Hawaii. I played the RBC Heritage, and I played the U.S. Open this year.
Right.
And that's those 3. That's it. But I have I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 more Champions Tour events to play this year, and then shut it down for a little while.
Nice. Good deal. Well, Jim, thank you for your time, man. Really appreciate it. Always love have you on. Good luck at your event, and we'll see you out there.
Thanks, Froggy. Appreciate it.